I saw New Jersey Twerk post a video about like it was like a grizzly bear,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Well, it's actually rare that grizzlies would actually attack you." Um, he was like, if he whatever the interaction was, he was like, normally what you see, the grizzly bear walked up on this man, he sniffed him, and then he kept it moving. He's like,
Yeah.
normally this is what you'll see. It's rare that they attack you. And I've said this before, but I would actually watch Twerk do a nature show.
He's losing so much potential revenue by not doing this. Like we would definitely tune into that. Like it's different. It's something different in the battle rap code community. We would definitely support that.
Yes. I
Like
would
we gotta do it.
absolutely watch him do a battle rap. I mean, I'm sorry, a show about animals because like he knows so much
Yeah,
about them. Like I would absolutely support him.
1000%.
Um Shout out to homie JC in the building, man. Let's
Stuff
but
JC.
anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yo, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you may find yourself as you listen to this. And welcome to the show that is I feel bad for my family in Kansas City. I do. I really do. It was a tough night last night. That being said, the boss in me is very excited that there's no parade on Wednesday. Um, I'm just saying, let me live my truth. Let me live my truth.
Nah,
I'm
you got it. You got
you know what I'm saying? Like,
it. Yeah.
don't be mad at me, y'all. But yeah, I'm super excited. Ain't no parade on Wednesday, and y'all got to come to work. Ain't no asking me to take no time off. Ain't no hey, I'll be back. I'll be back. If the traffic not too bad, nah. I'll see you bright and early Wednesday morning. You tuned into another episode of It's a Black and White Thing, featured A1 and A Ward. I am one half the dynamic duo. I am A1. You can check out every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice, wherever you find the good podcasts. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, give us 5 stars. You can also check us out here on live and in direct on YouTube by searching Brains and Bars. The same goes actually for the Facebook fan page. Too. If you want to, we go live from there as well. If you want to follow us there, go to YouTube, go to Facebook, search Brains and Bars, become a part of the community. My goal in 2025 is to be a little bit more active on that particular side because I hear good things about the revenue on YouTube. I'm trying to slowly work up to someday making this a revenue generating product. So you can check us out there. You can also check us out on socials at TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Brains and Bars. The homie Ward, he was kicking it with the Drosies this weekend. He had a little battle rap retreat with the fellas. So while he is back in town, I didn't ask him to pull up. If he happens to see this and decides he wants to, he's more than welcome to. But as you can see, I got friend of the pod. He was here last week? Here last week, host of one half of Not the Experts. You can check out that podcast wherever you find the good podcast. Also, part of the incredible team at Let's Talk Battle Rap. He has a new article out about Twitter Spaces and its impact on the culture. It is the two-time Super Bowl champion, Titus. How you doing, man?
I'm doing amazing. It's been a beautiful Sunday to Monday night. Hey Mama Ward, my to told my group. Well, I told work Saturday. I was like, listen, things don't go well. Tuesday, I'm gonna need a mental health day. Just letting you know now. They're like, yo, we got a lot going on. I'm like, I'm just saying, like, if I come to work, I'm gonna need to feel supported if the worst happens. But then the best thing happens, and they were in the group chat, like, what's Titus doing? And I said, pouring my third drink, about to shot fly off my balcony is what I'm doing. Um, but I told him I will see y'all on Tuesday, bright and early, on time. I'm in a great mood. It's a good time. It's a good
I
day.
mean, it was for Philadelphia Eagles fans. It was a great night last night. We're going to get into all of that. But before we do, I just wanted to real quick. So on Twitter, we did our episode last week. Um, we talked about that trade. We talked about, Nico, and we were very critical of him. And the next day, I thought about it a little bit more, and I went, man, I think we might end up apologizing to Nico once this is all over because I felt like he didn't pull this trade off all willy nilly. He had support from on high. I think that trade might have been uh, orchestrated by the owner who was making it initiative to move on. And then Anthony Davis comes out Saturday, and he is blazing. I mean, he is going crazy. He's playing great. And then I think late third quarter, I had stopped watching the game for a bit, and I saw a text that said something to the effect of Anthony Davis just walked off the court. And I went, oh no. And so I went rewinded it because got my league pass. Saw
Right.
non-contact. I think that's adductor muscle, but it's like basically a groin injury. And
Mm.
now the talk is that he will not come back this season. And Nico, I would just move out of the state for the rest of the season if I were you.
Yeah, yeah, because the threats, but then they're not going away now at all. You had a good half where it was like, you know what, maybe it's not so bad, but then I know somebody commented said they got the full AD experience in one half. I was like,
In one half,
he did,
one and a half quarters, they got the full experience.
but
Man,
he got hurt because he's obviously not in as good a shape as Shaq was, and that's why he got injured. All injuries are based on being in shape. Giannis is calf strain, out of shape, fat, out of shape. Giannis, Anthony Davis, same thing, out of shape. Just no work ethic between those guys, man. None.
and I feel bad for him because narratives follow you heavily. And
Yes.
that brother had played, he only missed 6 games last year. I think he'd only missed like 6 games prior to joining the Mavericks. And then in his first game where he was and the crowd was behind him, he had the crowd behind him. He's,
Yes.
I'm here. I'm here. Like he
Yeah.
is, he was, and the thing was, he was doing it against the Rockets too. It wasn't like he was doing it against bums.
Right.
He was doing it
Right.
against one of the top 4 seeds in the West. And for him to go down, I'm just like, come on, man. Like,
Not for sure.
yeah, yeah.
'Cause
So I just go ahead, go ahead.
AD got that injury rep, and I think it was overstated for a long time. Like, he always get hurt, he always come back. I remember looking at his Pelicans, like, he didn't miss that many games with the Pelicans. Where did this street clothes thing come from? Inside the NBA where they don't watch basketball, probably? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes,
Like,
that is
it's
exactly where it came from.
like it's so it was so unfortunate that rep get put on and people just ran with it, and now he's a little older. He does actually have these injuries, and I was like, yeah, it's confirmation bias basically at this point.
So real
But
quick
look,
about inside, I'll never forget this. They started the street clothes thing, laughing at him for being injured. Then when he tried to come back in the closeout game of that series and play through that injury, they eviscerated the Lakers training team for allowing him and the coaching staff for allowing him on the floor. And I'm like, guys, I understand that like you guys aren't on Twitter. You don't listen to these idiots in their basements, which Barkley loves to always tout. But it's
right,
like your words do. You realize you're on TV, right? You realize your words. Not that sticks and stones may break my bones, but they do carry weight. They do affect people.
right.
And Anthony Davis got killed when they start calling him street clothes, and that forced him to try to play through that injury. So yeah, man. So I want to address these. That I just want to kind of put that out there, man. I'm praying for you, Nico, man, and for Anthony. I hope he's not out for the season. I hope he's able to come back. I want to address these
Yes.
quick comments real quick. Shout out to JC. This watch party I was at yesterday was lit. This dude did an eagle call whenever something good went their way. And then shout out to the homie Los. I mean, I'm not going to say which fan team he's a fan of. So the Eagles have the worst fan base in the league. I'm not going to necessarily say they have the worst fan base in the league, but
You
I
think
will
they got
say
it?
there are probably listen. Y'all thought Chiefs Kingdom was bad. Y'all don't let Nick Sirianni be a world champion. Y'all don't let Philly fans get another chip. Y'all don't let CJ Gardner Johnson become a world champion.
Yes, you have.
You have not seen annoying. You have not seen, y'all thought the Chiefs was a lot. Nah. For the next year, maybe longer. Yeah. All right. They about to show they tail. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, let's get into it, man. Let's talk about it.
Sure.
Super Bowl 59 went down last night. It was the most watched Super Bowl in history, by the way, which,
Crazy.
as much as y'all claim y'all hate the Chiefs, a lot of that is people were hate watching the dynasty collapse. I hate all that talk. We'll address that a little bit later. Watching the dynasty collapse. And to me, this proves what I've said all along about sports. Sports are more fun. Sports are more watchable when you have a big bad that everyone is trying to take down.
I'm serious. Give me 1 second. I'm serious.
Yep. So it's sports are more fun when you have a big bad that you need to take down. I think the Chiefs AFC title game was the most watched non Super Bowl playoff game I think ever. At least maybe it's on CBS. So all I'm saying is this: and I think the NBA needs to learn from this. They've tried to create this era of parity. I know the NFL wants to have parity, but you're looking at two teams last night in the Chiefs and the Eagles that if they can make, they're going to lose some people in free agency, but if they're able to fill the holes of those players leaving, fill some existing gaps, add some additional depth, draft well, we could be watching a Cavaliers Warriors type run from both of these two teams. You just went wardrobe change? Is this heel rock? Is this Hollywood rock in the building? What's going on?
I just want to say, Juju Smith-Schuster, I hope you got everything you deserved yesterday. You specifically got everything you deserved yesterday. Oh, you was out there being useless, like you were in Pittsburgh, like you were in New England. You got back to reality of being a useless player. I'm so happy about it. My coach, they mocked my coach years ago. He was talking about flowers and roots, and he was nervous. All right, my flowers and roots and everything. Last year, the problem, see, everybody's like, we're bad fans, we're this and that and third, we're spoiled. No, the problem is we know how good this roster was and what we're supposed to be. That's why we act the way we do. We knew this whole time we have a Super Bowl roster and we will get there. Everyone, I remember 2 years ago I was on the show, and then we had a fun time. Then the next week, I don't know who it was. One of you guys' friends came on, disparaging the good name of Harry Roseman, talking about how he bought the team. They ain't really draft nobody. You know what he did? You know how he did with that information? You know how he did when he got that information? You know what he did? He said, "Okay, cool. All I did was draft Carson Wentz right after paying. Draft Jalen Hurts right after paying Carson Wentz $100-something million." An obscene amount of money. A bold move. No other GMs would have been scared to make, by the way. Not a lot of GMs make that decision, but how he did. How he did.
Keep going.
You know what I'm saying? All he did, what he did? He went to that draft and went on a heater. He said, you know what I want? You see all them Georgia boys winning championships? Give me all of them. Everyone you got, I want every one of them. Give me Nolan Smith. Give me N'Kobe Dean. Give me Jalen Carter. Give me Jordan Davis first. Let's start off with that. And let's bring them all here. Let's just draft well. You know what else I want? Y'all like Cooper DeJean? Y'all like Quinyon Mitchell? I like them both. And I'll take both of them. Thank you very much. Hey, Washington. Y'all like that Jahan Dot? Y'all like him? Let's send him over here. We'll take him. So he did all he did to bolster. He did. You know what else he did?
What did he do?
2 years ago?
Keep going.
He lived in the 7th round of the draft and said, "Who's this young rugby player from Australia? I like him. Bring him to me. That's my right tackle. That's my right tackle. Draft pick, by the way. That's my right tackle. I want him. Lane Johnson, Hall of Famer. Center, Jason Kelsey, Hall of Famer.
Keep going.
On the way to the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? You know what he did this off? He said, you know what? Hey, y'all don't believe in paying running backs? That's all I need is a running back. Saquon, what's up?
Go.
You ain't gotta go that. You're from here. You gotta go that far. Come on through, bro. Like he said, we're gonna build this from the inside out. The trenches. We build in the trenches. That's trench warfare, baby. World War I, A1. History. Trench warfare. They was in them dirty trenches.
Oh,
filthy,
World War I. Okay.
Filthy trenches. It was tuberculosis all in the trench. We ain't had that. He said that's how we build. We build in the dirt where only the brave go, only the bold men go. That's where we build this from. We're gonna build this D line, this O line, both Super Bowls, D line, O line, quarterback, cool. That's fine. Nick Foles, go get it, bro. You got protectors, you got receivers. Go get it. Go do what you gotta do. Jalen Hurts, I give you everything, bro. You know what to do. You know what to do it. You're a leader. He got him. We did it again 2 times. Now you can almost call us fourth. Now we really moving up there. We about to get everything y'all hated about. It's about to get worse. 2 times Super Bowl champs, baby.
Worse?
Yes, because see, the problem is they hated us before we had accomplishments. Now we getting the accomplishments with it. Yeah. You see, before the Falcons, Falcons fans could talk to me a little bit, but I'm too up on them. I was when I got one of them, like, y'all can talk about. Don't say nothing to me, Falcons fan. We did what you couldn't do. with a backup quarterback, by the way. Your quarterback won
Oh,
MVP, you lost. We took Nick Foles, beat the man who beat you last year. We had 28. We spotted y'all spotted him 28 points. Um,
oh,
I'm just saying, Atlanta. Just don't disrespect me. Minnesota, they had a lot. You know, it was a little. They got mad like, oh, Eagles fans are so rowdy and mean. We just came to the stadium and walked through the tailgate with our gear, and they yelled at us. Oh, they're so mean. Yeah, yeah. JJ McCarthy's your quarterback next year, buddy. Good luck with that. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself with that one. How about that? 49ers, we cool, man. I'm done. I'm dead in the 49ers beat. I went to church Sunday A1, and the pastor was like, yo, like, he's just messing about forgiveness and everything, right? And I'm like, I gotta let some of this stuff go. 49ers, I let that go. There's no point. We the only ones really holding the NFC up anyway. It's only us two. Might as well be respect there. Anybody else really bold enough?
I
Um,
appreciate that. I
for
appreciate that.
sure, for sure. They talk about Josh Allen being this, uh, Lamar and all. Jalen Hurts had 2 shots at Patrick and got him in two. Took him 2 shots, but he got one off of him. Lamar trying to get his first. Josh trying to get his first. Only Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts hold it down. They the only ones not scared. That's it. And Joe Burrow, he ain't really caught him since that one either. He had his chance. He ain't caught him yet. You know what I'm saying? He ain't caught him yet. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Was that a Chiefs man? Who said that? Was that a
Yes,
Chiefs man?
that was shout out to
Oh, Chiefs
Gritty.
fan.
That's a Chiefs
Y'all
fan.
were irrelevant for 30 years and finally got your little run. Don't start with me. Don't start. You were just irrelevant. You were praying for Alex Smith wins. I don't want to hear it. All right. I was outside. I seen it. I seen all of it. I was
I
outside
mean,
for it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know what y'all were. You know what I'm saying? I was outside when it was the Dexter McCluster show. Yeah, I remember that. I
Ooh,
remember that
okay.
either.
You
Yeah.
going back. You going
Yeah.
back a little
Yeah.
bit.
I
You
was
going
outside.
back.
I was outside. I
The
saw
offensive weapon.
y'all wasted Tony Gonzalez his whole career.
Yikes.
Let's get into that.
Yikes.
Let's get into that. He had to go to Atlanta to find. Yeah, man had to leave. You know how bad that man had to go to Atlanta for hope. The Falcons. That was his
Yikes.
hope. That's how bad y'all treated him.
Yikes.
You stole your whole chant from Atlanta. Let's talk about that, Chiefs.
Word?
Oh, not even
Shake
original.
your tail feather?
I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay.
That's from the A. All right. All right, I'm out of. All right, I'm gonna get back in the regular period. I'm sorry. All right, I'm get back in. All right, that was fun.
Nah, you cooked. You cooked. You went crazy. You went crazy. Talk your talk, man.
Oh man.
Winners get to talk they talk, man. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was
So
my cocky run. But I'm back. I'm back now. I'm back to humble now. I'm back to being grateful.
see, here's the thing. If the Niners ever win the championship, I will probably, if it's over Kansas City, I probably will be show some humility.
Yeah.
If they beat anybody else, ain't gonna be waiting till Monday before we fire up this laptop. We getting on live during the trophy presentation, and I'm talking my talk.
Right.
I'm
Right.
I normally am a gracious winner. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
might cut a little promo for about 5 to 10 minutes while that trophy ceremony is going on.
No, you
So
shouldn't.
I understand.
Y'all
I
deserve. Yeah.
understand.
Like y'all been through a lot. We're not been through a lot in the past decade and some change. Like so, definitely,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
So let me ask you, when did you know this game was over?
I I was confident it was over when Devonta Smith caught that ball. I was like, okay, this might really be a wrap.
Wait, when it was
It took that
31
long.
nothing?
Yeah, it took. I'm scared of that magician, man. That magician scares me, man. Like it wasn't like a thing where I'm like, oh god, we're gonna blow it type thing. It was just like what if something happened? But then I said, okay, it's really over. I was really ready to finally breathe and exhale. You know, it took a long time though, because it was. I thought we could win. I didn't know we would dominate. So half the game was a surreal feeling. Like we were just gonna beat them like this. Like it's just not gonna be competitive. Like it was just a real feeling in that game. Because I'm sitting there like it's gonna be the fourth quarter and it's not gonna be the Mahomes Kelsey show with one score. It's no okay. All right, we're just gonna all right. That's fine. Early on in the first half when they stopped them after the pick. Oh, I'm sorry. When they went up 14 and got the pick, I was like, is this gonna be the Tampa game? It's not gonna be the Tampa game, is it? That wouldn't happen again, would it? But I saw how little he trusted that line and how much they were getting abused, and I'm like, oh, it's that again. But I wasn't fully ready to just accept the fact that it was gonna be that easy until it was 31. That's when I was like, okay.
So I think hold on, let me go back. Let me go back.
You on it early. You on it very early.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the pick six when I DM'd you.
It was right
Or,
before, I think. I think it was right before because I wrote you back, wow, and then you you, you
oh
sent me
yeah,
the thing. Yeah.
and I put in caps. I told them all week. Yeah. Like I hate so it's rare during this Mahomes era where I have been the proverbial canary in the coal mine,
Hmm.
where I have been saying to them, "Hey guys, I don't think this is going to go how you think it's going to go." And in one of my group chats after the NFC, and I might have said this on the show last week, after the NFC title game, I posted a retweet of Milton Williams
Mm.
taking the starting left guard of the Washington Commanders and walking him back into Jaden Daniels' lap. And I said, hey guys, you got 2 weeks to get DJ Humphries up to speed and kick Tooney back inside. Because I said, these guys have monsters all over that line. It's not just like you got Nick Bosa, and then you got a bunch of other guys who could
Yeah.
hurt you, but maybe not. It's not like having man, what's the young man who just demanded a trade? Miles Garrett. It's
Not
not like
Gary. Yeah.
having Miles Garrett on one side and then there's a bunch of other guys who might hurt you. No, they have multiple guys who could hurt you.
Right.
And especially from the interior. The strength of your line is the interior. Kick Humphreys back out, kick Tooney back inside, put Humphreys on the outside, and if Humphreys stinks it up, you can always go back to what has worked for you, which was Caliendo at left guard and Tooney at left tackle. No,
Right.
man, we good. We got it. We got it, man. We gonna be good. I said, bro, I don't think y'all really understand what I'm telling you. Like, this not about to go. Like, and when I said I got the Eagles, and people asked me why, yo, ain't no. So the first kickback from Chiefs fans, or I thought you supported us. I thought you was with us. I said, hey, one thing I am is objective. Now I am a sports
Right.
pessimist, but I'm like the one thing I am is objective. If I truly think the Chiefs or even my team is going to lose, I'm going to tell you, and
Yeah.
I'm going to have some factual evidence as to why. And
Right.
I said it for 2 weeks. That line is going to be a problem if y'all don't kick. And God bless Joe Tooney. He
Yeah.
did what he could do.
Yeah.
But the thing I said this morning, I said, yo, Joe Tooney was surviving out
Right.
there at left tackle.
Hmm.
Like he was fighting for his life. And more times than not, y'all got away with it.
Right.
Rex mean they got away with it, but they ain't get away with it. Like, and I mean, and you go and watch, there's a play I retweeted this morning. It might have been their second series of the game where I think they go 3-and-out on that series.
Yeah.
Mahomes scrambles. He tries to hit Hollywood Brown. He's inaccurate with the throw. He misses him. I think Cooper DeJean would have tackled him and kept him for first down anyway. But on that play, Xavier Worthy is up against Zach Bond.
That's the one. Yeah. Yeah. I did see that one. Yeah. Yeah.
And he cooks
Cook.
Zach Bond. And if there was time, if he had time in that pocket, if he can make an accurate throw, it's probably 6.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
assuming Worthy catches the ball.
Right.
But on that play, immediately you see Tooney just getting driven. It looks like a practice dummy. Josh Sweat gets the bull rush on him, and he's just moving him on back. Drive. I could hear the D-line coach, drive. And he is just literally driving Tooney back into Patrick. Patrick, again, he panics. And the thing about Patrick is I've seen people say, try to, watch a TV show, talk about is this performance on Patrick or is it on Andy? And they were like, well, it's on Patrick. Like, he's got to play better. And I'm like, bro, I don't care what quarterback you are. When you have lost the confidence of your line, especially your blind side,
Right.
it's a wrap. And he lost confidence in Tooney
Early.
quickly, absolutely. And look, because Tooney was fighting for his life and he lost battles all game long.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so, again, I hate to be right about these things when it comes to the Chiefs, but yo, somebody tried to warn you. Somebody tried to warn
He
you
tried
that
to lead him. He tried to lead him to a better path.
I did, man. Like, And so I'll say this last thing, and I'll let you. We can talk some more about the Eagles. But shout out to my guys Armand and Doc. They have a podcast called Clock Radio Speakers. They talk about music and other things, but in particular music. And one of the big things on their show is they love to get into lessons learned, right? When they talk about an artist who has dropped a new album, they like to go, okay, what did they learn from previous drops, previous releases, previous promo runs, so on and so forth. And the one thing I said, I was at the barbershop on Friday and I was having a conversation with the guys there, and I said, man, this feels like Tampa all over again. I said this on Friday, and if you ask them, they would tell you I said it. I said it feels like Tampa because I said the last time they walked into a Super Bowl with a makeshift offensive line against a front four that could get after the quarterback, they got worked.
Yeah.
And to me, Andy and company and the coaching staff did not learn from that mistake.
Yeah.
You walk in, when you start putting people in places they shouldn't be, man, it can lead to disaster. And I get it. You were able to survive Buffalo. You were able to survive Tennessee, Houston,
Yeah.
and all these other teams. When you face a quality front, and this is the best front they faced since the 2020 Super Bowl against 2019, I'm sorry, 2019-2020 season against San Francisco.
Right.
When you face a front that can get after the QB like that, man, you got to have your best people at their best spots, and they just didn't work for them.
It's one of those things where, and I heard somebody on TV say this today. I watched all the sports shows today. Of course, it's been a good day. They were like, the difference between this and the Tampa Super Bowl is that was at least injuries. You had time to fix. You had time to be prepared for this one. Injuries, you had to do what you had to do, but you had time to prepare for this. Like, you could have come up with something. And that's one thing. Like, God knows I love Andy Reid, but when Andy can be stubborn, Andy can be very stubborn about things. Like, it's been something. Now he's gotten to Kansas City. He's overcome a lot and able to win championships. So, but he's still got some of those habits where he's going to run wherever got him there. He's not going to change it. And for better or worse. And that's why I think these games get lopsided on him in the playoffs at times, because it's just like, I'm just going to go with what we got. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's why in games out of hand, it's a lot of Andy just doing what Andy wants to do. That's kind of how it goes there. But yeah, the game. I was shocked. I was shocked at first. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that Joe Tooney thing is not. That really wasn't it, because it was just everybody. When I saw Brandon Graham come in his first action in months bullying him, I said, oh, help him. Help that man, please. Why Brandon Graham tore his bicep? This is his first action in months. Why is he ain't bullied nobody in a long time? I love Brandon, but come on, man.
Man, it was a wrap. And I know a lot has been made of the Chiefs' game plan. They only ran the ball once on their first 4 drives. The other thing I said today in the aftermath is success can be blinding.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'm really about, which is why I kind of hate the discourse about, resumes and who won what championship, is that the result often is not as important as the process.
Right.
Yes. You can win, but how are you winning?
Right.
And for me, I think that when you talk about that stubbornness of Andy, when you look at, hey, we just went through the AFC again, right? We beat an ascending quarterback in CJ Stroud. We beat the boogeyman, the MVP, in Josh Allen. We beat the team that people thought we couldn't beat again, right? They were, granted, I think the Chiefs were slight favorites in this game, but a lot of people had Buffalo winning, myself included, right? And I think that when you have that level of success and when you have 15, so what, you ran the ball one time in the first four series. 15's back there. 15 can do anything.
Right.
He can turn any deficit around. We down 10. Oh, that's what we normally do in the Super Bowls. We go down 10 and it doesn't matter, right? Oh, now we're down 24. Oh, okay. We was down 24 to the Texans. We came back and won that. Like, success can be blinding. And so when you have had success with that line, of course you think you can roll out there and do it again. When that first drive against Buffalo, because one of my homies was like, man, I really hated them series of them not running the ball. I said, hey, bro, that's what they did against Buffalo. They rolled out there. There was a 9-play drive that led to their first touchdown against Buffalo. 6 of those were passes. Now, One of them ended up being a Mahomes scramble. I'm sorry, 5 of the 6 were passes. One ended up being a Mahomes scramble, but he threw the ball down the field. And then once they got into the red zone, then they ran the ball 3 straight times. But
Right.
I'm like, that first drive was all passes. And one Isaiah Pacheco run.
Yeah.
Why would you think? And especially the way it started with their first 2 passes got positive yardage, got them a first down on their first drive. And it looked like the Buffalo game. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. They about to just go back, do what they do again. And yeah, man. So that success when you got the one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the game, when you got this level of success that you've been on, your 2-time defending champion, like 15, not counting the Denver game, like a 15 game something win streak, something like that. Why do
Yeah.
you think anything else is going to change? So
Right.
yeah, man, I don't know. So, but let's focus on the winners a little bit right now. We'll get back to the Chiefs and what they could do later on down the line. So last week we talked about Jalen Hurts and we talked about, okay, is he now on the throne of best quarterback in the NFC?
Yeah.
I
And
think we
somebody
can.
somebody said he was below Brock Purdy. That's not here today. On the same level as Brock Purdy. I remember that.
Ooh,
Somebody, yeah, yeah. I remember
mm.
that.
It wasn't this guy.
No, not
I
you,
just,
not you. Yeah,
yeah. It wasn't this guy. Just
wasn't
let
you.
everybody know
Somebody
it wasn't
said
me.
that. Yeah, yeah,
Um, he is now. I mean, yeah, in Game of Thrones, has ascended to the top of the mountain, and he now sits as the king of the quarterbacks in the NFC. He has no peer right now. He has, I mean, honestly, in 2 Super Bowl matchups against Mahomes, statistically, has been the better quarterback. Now,
yeah.
granted, that first one was close, but
Back and forth. Yeah,
Jalen had a better game that first one too, and clearly had the better game last night against Kansas City.
yeah, yeah. Jalen has the thing that with Patrick that they want Josh Allen to have so badly, but he just doesn't. Honestly, like I'm just like he just he got what 4 straight playoff loss. That's not he's got that thing that they want Josh Allen to have with him. But no, my thing with Jay, I was thinking about more during the week. I'm like, yo, like, because normally I don't like to buy into this idea that you can do it in big games, can't do it, don't do it in other games. But I'm like looking at Jay, I'm like, yo, he really when they ask him to do things, especially in these big moments, he's done them. The Commanders game, he did it. The Super Bowl 2 years ago, he did it. I don't think they plan on him to do it. He did it though,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and I'm like, this Super Bowl, I think he's gonna be fine. I think he's gonna play a really good game in the Super Bowl, just because when they ask him to do it, he's gonna do it. This is how he's been. That's what he's shown himself to be in the pros, is somebody who rises to the occasion in these big games. And I think his best games have been Super Bowls and playoff games. Now, why is the same quarterback that threw for 100 some yards back to back and had AJ being like, we got to improve the passing game? It wasn't wrong. Passing game wasn't looking good. I wasn't mad. Like, you didn't have to say it, but he wasn't wrong. Like, I don't know how that math works in his head. I don't know, but Jalen is somebody he's driven, man. That dude's just driven by something different mentally, and he behaves as such, and it's corny and annoying with this always stoic. I'm unflappable all the time thing in public. Like, it's such a gimmick, but he plays like that though. Like, he doesn't get phased. He threw that pick, which that pick was a bad throw, but it was also very bad protection. I don't like Cam and
Was it
Dickerson. It wasn't Dickerson. I think it was Dickerson. Got mixed up somehow and just was it Chris Jones just free?
no
No,
Bolton? It was Nick Bolton. He came
Bolton. Yeah, Bolton
straight up
just
A
free.
gap.
And I'm like, yo, like that was one of those things that happens, but it wasn't. He doesn't when he makes mistakes, he doesn't fall into a hole of, oh gosh, I'm gonna make mistakes more. No, he's like, okay, cool, my bad, we'll fix it. But no, it was a great performance from him. I'm happy he did it, man. Just watching him since his freshman year at Alabama to now, just knowing everything he's been through, like seeing him get a Super Bowl ring and an MVP was just so fulfilling just for that story. Like, I would, even if he wasn't, well, as long as he wasn't in the division somewhere else, I would have enjoyed that story for him because I've been a fan of his for forever. But seeing him do it with Philly was just amazing, And considering how it was when he came to Philly, because I don't know if you remember A1, we were confused when they drafted him
Mm-hmm.
because, again, like I said earlier, well, my alter ego said earlier, we had just paid Carson Wentz $100 some million this year prior to drafting him in the second round. It's like, so we're drafting a quarterback, not getting Carson help. And then Harry Roseman's excuse, like, we consider ourselves a quarterback factory. A what, sir? What is that? What does that mean? Like we were all confused and did not understand what was going on there. And also, don't forget that was also the Jalen Rieger draft. As well.
Mm,
That was Jalen Rieger over Justin Jefferson first round, Jalen Hurts second round. We were all lost at that time and confused at that time. But
man, had they
yeah,
gotten Justin Jefferson,
I know. I thought about it a lot. I
oh
thought about
my
it a lot.
gosh.
But then they wouldn't have gotten AJ Brown probably. They probably wouldn't have gotten
True,
AJ Brown. So
true. But I
I think it was
mean, respectfully, no disrespect to AJ.
yeah,
AJ a monster.
yeah, you don't need yeah, you wouldn't need
Yeah,
it.
but you don't really need AJ if you got
Yeah,
Justin
yeah, that's a
Jefferson.
fact. That's a fact. That's a fact for sure. But no, it was just like a real. Even coming, like I said, coming to Philly was like, what are y'all doing? Why are we doing this? We just paid our quarterback. Also, this our quarterback we just picked. You just paid him. Why are we? What's going on? And then things went the way they went. How he had a vision, he had a plan. He didn't tell us the plan, but he had something going on there. He had an idea of something. So seeing Jalen's career from being maligned in Philly, Alabama, and finishing off with the championship in Philly was amazing. The defense, we had a you see what having a linebacker does. A1. See what Zach Bond does. Just a linebacker at all. It made me happy. Jalen Carter just taking up space. Cause I did see. Someone said the strategy was basically they put Jalen on the side of the right guard. I forget his name. Um, whoever
Trey
they
Smith.
Trace, they put him on that side, and then so they made them double him, which then left Tooney on that island, that sad island he was on. Which I'm like, well, that's mean. But at a certain point in the game, like that's mean to do to Joe Tooney. Like I'm sure he's a nice man. That's a good
I
guy.
mean, dude, like there's again, I've been watching people break down various cut ups and like
Yeah.
so there's a story, and I say this is I'm joking when I say this, right? But there's a story of his name is Mike Caliendo. He was the left guard starting who took Tooney's spot when he kicked out. And the story goes, well, Caliendo took time. He was applying to med school, and his agent said, "Well, hold off on applying to med school. Let's see what happens with the NFL." And then he got the call. The Chiefs, I think, is undrafted free agent, right? And he was practice team last year. He gets a call up this year. It's a great inspirational story, all that great stuff. After last night, young man, you might want to go get them applications rolling again. See if they'll accept you back because levels were
Yeah.
shown last night.
Yeah,
There
I
was a
agree.
there was a
Yeah.
play where it was a running play, one of the few runs in the game, um, and I think it was Milton Williams just discarded him.
Probably. Yeah.
It might
Yeah.
have been is it Moro Ojomo?
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
might have been him. It was one of
Yeah.
the two. Discarded him like he wasn't there. I mean, off the snap, excuse me, I
Right.
got someplace I got to be.
On the
Moves him out of the way and makes the tackle for like no gain, maybe a 1 yard loss. And
yeah.
so yeah,
On,
man,
on that
go
second
go
pick,
ahead.
Nolan Smith pushed somebody into Patrick and threw him off when he was throwing that ball on the Zach Bond pick. Just threw
It
him
was
in Patrick.
Tony.
It
It's
was it was
Tony.
22. Oh, yeah.
It was Tony. It was Tony again, bro. When you like,
Yeah.
I pay for like the NFL Plus so I can see the all 22 and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if I go back and just chart how many times on passing downs Tooney was like literally like, and so I don't know if you ever seen like the technique, right? The technique for offensive linemen when they're getting bull rush like that is to kind of like hop, like do
Right.
like
Right.
this
Yeah.
hop to try. I never forget Jalen Carter, his rookie season. Like they showed like it was during training camp and it was like the backup for Kelsey at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
and like Carter's like moving this man. And granted, the man is doing the technique, but like every time he would jump up again, Carter moved him like another 3 yards.
Right.
And it
Right.
was like, young man, coach, blow the whistle. This rep is done.
Please.
This rep is over,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you go look at how many times Tony was doing that to try to keep, but except he wasn't able to anchor himself. So I mean, he would try to
Right.
do that hop to try to slow down their momentum, and they just were moving through him. And I
Yeah.
mean, they get on that play, man. Like again,
And yeah. And watching that game, it felt like and how we had spoken to it during some of the media event, he's like, the Chiefs have been in my head. They're always in my head. Like the goal, we have to beat them, and like this felt like a team literally assembled to beat the Chiefs. Um, it's like, well, to a better way. You remember last year in the NBA, right? Tim Connolly built the Timberwolves to beat his monster, the Nuggets, right? They were specifically built to beat them. Now the problem was they were only built to beat them. That's it. They were, they were only built
They
to beat the
weren't they
Nuggets.
weren't
That
built
was
to
it.
take everybody else.
No, just the Nuggets specifically. That's it. That's it. But the Eagles team is so talented, and they were able to take advantage of guys who were kind of guys that had to prove something. You know, Sweat, Milton Williams, Zach Bond, like guys on like 1 year little prove it deals about their contract about to expire now. Take advantage of that and build something in the line that's like they can't. He's like we're talented enough to get through the NFC, and that team can't do anything about it. When we see them, they can't do anything about it. Because I know Saquon, some of the guys on the team, Saquon said last night, like we watching film, and Brandon Graham said something similar to it. He was like, we watched film through the week, and Saquon's like, I just feel like, yo, they can't do anything with us. I'm like, what did they see? Like? They really saw this whole time. They were like, yo, they can't do nothing with us. They felt very confident that the Chiefs could not do anything with them, and they played like it. They played like a team that knew the game plan, knew what to do. Because Fangio, for all the talk about Fangio, it wasn't an elaborate scheme, which everybody's right about. It was very, we're gonna run our plays, we're gonna send 4 people, and they're gonna get you, and that's gonna be the end of it. But everybody played in sync. No one played outside themselves, and they made plays. Like even that Cooper interception, that's a play Patrick makes all the time. Cooper just knew he was gonna do it. You know, he built a smart defense, and that's another thing that when we talked about last week, and I said I don't want to say this defense is better than the 22 defense, but I think they're smarter. They play with more like those guys are more. They got a championship pedigree. All those Georgia guys, all those Georgia guys are smart defenders. We all know that. Like they're a smarter defense, but in the way they play yesterday, they might just be better. Honestly,
I
because
think I mean,
that
that team obviously generated more sacks, right? The
yes,
team from
yeah,
22 generated more sacks, but I
right,
think this was the better team just because, in particular, the back half is a lot better than what
right,
you have now, right? I think
right.
I said this last week. I'm going to mention it again. Cooper should have been a first round draft pick. San
Should have been
Francisco, you should have drafted him.
for sure.
Jalen Carter should not have been an Eagle. He should have went top 5 at worst. Atlanta should have taken him.
Yeah,
Nolan Smith, I get he got injured, so that's part of the reason why he fell. He was like top of the end of the first or top of the second round, right?
second, I
Because I
think.
think
Yeah,
Howie
yeah.
traded up to get him.
I believe you're right. I believe you're right. Yeah, yeah,
So Nolan Smith was there for the taking. Like the guys that some of those guys that he got didn't have to end up in Philly.
right,
They
right.
didn't. Other teams could have gotten those players. And I mean, I gave credit to Brett Veach when they beat the Eagles in 20. No, was it last year? Maybe it was no, it was 22. It was 22.
Hmm.
I gave them credit when they beat the Eagles in 22 because they've gotten Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, Nick Bolton,
Yes,
right? All these guys, and now you have to give credit to Howie for going and getting
right.
these gentlemen on defense, for getting Mekhi Becton and moving him to guard.
Yes, yes. I'm
You
happy for
know,
him too. Like that was the guy who I think was always supposed to be good, and he had injury problems. They moved him aside, and he had a great. I'm happy for him. Like even if 'cause I think he's on a 1 year deal too. So even if he goes somewhere else for big money, I'm happy for him, man. I'm glad you got to rebuild your reputation in the league.
absolutely,
I'm happy for that
absolutely.
for
And I
sure.
mean, obviously, going and getting Saquon, like
Yes, yes,
everybody. And I mentioned last week, right? I mentioned last week, I made this point about the running back and how having a great running back, how it can transform your offense. Now, obviously, Saquon didn't have the great game that he has had previously. But again, I wish I should clip this and post this and at this person. But with the person that I had that back and forth with about Isaiah Pacheco, and I get Isaiah was coming off an injury, so on and so forth. But again, when Patrick is at the top of his game, when he's locked in, anybody can be your running back.
hmm,
But if you have a Saquon, a Derrick Henry, a CMC, a Josh Jacobs, if you have one of those really good running backs, there's no way Andy won't be as foolish to abandon the running game when he's got one of them guys back there because he
right.
understands what they can mean and what they could add to an offense. When you have Isaiah, who again, God bless him, doesn't have the best vision, and you give him the ball and he runs for 2 yards when there was another 5 to his left, okay, back to 15, right? You
Yeah.
start running the Bel Air offense, give it to Will,
Right.
and when all else fails. And so again, like we have to give credit. I am a little annoyed at time because Howie is kind of like the Patriots when during their run, when every time they would sign somebody and everybody goes,
Oh,
oh,
it's a yeah, yeah, yeah.
why'd y'all let him get him, right? Like he's on that run right now. Every move he
No,
makes seems to touch turn gold. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and it's the thing where even his bad moves don't affect us. Like Bryce Huff is on a ridiculous contract, it's probably untradeable, and it just didn't matter. Bryce Huff was a healthy scratch yesterday, by the way. Someone we traded for and gave a new contract was
Yeah,
a
give me a
healthy scratch
contract.
yesterday. Um, even I had another name. Remember they traded like a fifth pick for Kevin Byard last year? Like, oh my god, yeah, how we did it again? Like, no, he didn't. Yeah, we didn't do anything. It's Kevin. No, he didn't. That's not gonna be that important, I don't think. But yeah, he's in that era where every move he makes, everybody believes it's the smartest move ever, which is always funny. But yeah, that's one thing I give Howie is that we've seen him make mistakes, but we've seen him rectify those mistakes very quickly, which is not easy to do because if you missed on a draft badly, it's hard to recover from that. Like it's really hard to recover from a badly missed draft. But
Shout out to
he
Kyle Shanahan.
managed. I remember you said that you put me on to that. I saw you say that earlier season about the 49ers, like they missed on so many drafts. I'm like, they have, haven't they? That's actually the problem there. That comes back to you
That's
eventually. No matter how much success you have, eventually that comes back to you. It's gonna come back on you.
the
You know.
bill comes due at some point.
Yes, yes. So it was Howie. This is might be. I see everybody being like, "This is the most talented team. This is probably one of the most talented teams the Eagles have ever had." And like, it's funny how none of us said this a week ago, but like we're all kind of looking back, like, "Oh, this team did go 15-1 to end the year, basically." Um, and even looking at the playoff run, man, I was looking. I'm like, "Yo, they scored 22 points on the Packers, which they should have scored more." I thought we should be Packers by more because we forced too many turnovers that game to be 22-10. 28 on the Rams, which that game, everything got real scary for a minute in that game for no reason at all. Um, 55 on the Commanders and then 40 in the Super Bowl. I'm like, why is it getting, the margin just kept getting better as the closer they got to it. It just speaks to, man, Sirianni, man, this is why I believe in the CEO coach. You ain't got to be X's and O's. You ain't got to be hands off. You establish that culture and that mentality. And the mentality is you're going to study, you're going to know your plays. Brandon Graham said they were tired of film study by the time Super Bowl came up. But you're gonna know what you're supposed to do. You're gonna run your assignments. You're gonna play hard at all times, and we're gonna be for each other. And that just establishing a culture is so important, and everybody being in lockstep with that. And I think that's what this team had, and that's why they got it done. Um, I'm not really ready. I know everybody's like, oh, they can probably go back next year. We ain't gotta do it because we got this offseason. Look, Josh Sweat's a free agent. Milt Williams is a free agent. Zach Bond's a free agent. They're gonna get more money than we can probably offer right now. Like at least it's gonna be hard. Somebody's gonna take a hometown discount to come back because they
Yeah,
earned
I
themselves some
mean,
money last night. They earned themselves some
yeah.
real bread.
So I mean, I see that. I'm looking at this right now. They're projected to have around $13 million in cap space this
Yeah,
offseason.
yeah,
Now I will say this. I think another thing you have to give Howie credit for is he locks at least the guys who are eligible, like Devontae.
hmm
He got Devontae. He got him locked up. So on a team friendly deal, right? Like
very,
it's still
yeah,
really
very
good
much
money,
so.
but it's
Yeah,
not like top receiver money, right? He
right.
gets those guys locked down early. But I mean, I'm looking at this free agent list, man. I think Brandon Graham is retiring, right? Like I think he said this was it for
Yeah,
him, right?
yeah. I think you will ultimately.
So he's gone. These are just starters.
Right.
Josh Sweat, Zach Bond, Mekhi Becton, Milton Williams. I mean, granted, Oren Burks was a replacement, but he was also a starter.
Serviceable. Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking at any other. I mean, Avonte Maddox. I know he was kind of a depth piece.
Shout out to him
Um,
for losing his spot, but then making a play in the Super Bowl.
for
Shout out
sure,
to him for staying locked in.
for sure. Isaiah Rogers, right? He was a
Yeah,
depth piece. Kenneth Gainwell. So I mean, they've got some pieces that they could potentially lose. And I mean, when you win a Super Bowl, right? There's a Super Bowl bump. Like
yeah.
you
That's what happens.
you become a little bit of a made man, and then people want to pay you large sums of money. I mean, shout
Yeah.
out to Javon Hargrave, right?
Woo.
Um, I mean, look, he
That's what
he
happens.
might
Yeah,
be back on the market. I mean, I don't know if
yeah.
the Niners are going to bring him back. So
Mm.
he might be out on the market again next year. So, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
it's,
some
it's what happens. Yeah, and but the good thing is 9 of the 11 offensive people should be back at least. Like I said, Makai's out and one more. I can't remember who. It might be Dotson. Dotson might be a free agent, or is he? Because I know he was on
uh
a rookie deal, but he might. I don't know how that's working with him right now. 'Cause he's on his rookie deal, but I'm not sure how that's going with him. But
That's gotta be the last year of his deal.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But that's about it, I believe. Saquon's locked up. Jalen, the whole offensive line set for Makai. Lane's coming back next year, which also we should be drafting his replacement this season for sure. That should be a priority. That way they can get a year in the system. AJ, like I said, AJ, everybody key on offense pretty much locked up. All the key people are locked up. So that's a good sign. But the defense is going to look a little different next year. But Jalen Carter will still be there, which that always helps.
That matters. That matters. Yeah.
That's one of the most important parts.
Now with your OC getting
That again.
the well, this is what
Yeah.
happens when you're successful, right?
Right. Or when you're
Um,
unsuccessful. Like last
yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah. That happens too.
Yeah.
But have you heard like through the grapevine, through any of content creators or anything about what potentially they could be doing on the OC side?
I haven't yet. I haven't looked into it, but yeah, no Kellen. Everybody thinks Kellen's taking that Saints job. I'm surprised that we didn't get announced today. I guess they're giving him a day. I don't know.
I
Because
mean, I'm pretty sure you
even
want to let them
yeah,
celebrate a
totally,
little bit,
yeah.
and then you
So
can start building. I'm pretty sure Kellen is probably already kind of put through either his agent or representatives have already probably start putting out feelers for staff too as well of
yeah,
trying to build a staff.
yeah.
But yeah, I think Kellen Moore's. I mean, I think he's obviously going to get the job. And so, I mean, I think part of Nick's issue, right, was losing some of those
Mm-hmm.
coordinators from the Super
Right.
Bowl team and then having to try to rebuild it. So hopefully, he gets it. He'll be able to land it and get it right the first time.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious
Uh,
about. They let him hire these ones. They didn't let him hire Vic and Kellen. They went above. They were like, we're hiring Vic and Kellen. Those are your offense coordinators. They told him that last year after the side thing went left. They they told him who his coordinators were going to be last season.
so
So
I
I'm
I
curious
do
to see how
think
that goes.
I do think that's an interesting thing about Howie that I've seen people say that he runs it kind of like a baseball team, right? In
Yeah.
baseball, the general managers have a lot of say over staff, over even
Right.
sometimes over how you even call the game. Now, granted,
Mm-hmm.
Howie doesn't have that level of control, but that'll be interesting to see if
It
he
will. It
decides to
will.
run his own search and says, okay, I mean that kind of fits the CEO thing, right? Like of
Right.
you know the board will find this person for you,
Right.
right? You just show up, you make sure you look handsome, right?
Yes. Yes.
Make sure you
Yes.
wear your suit and ask some right questions, but we'll ultimately make that decision. So that
For
is
sure.
something that bears with watching. I think as far as I know, you don't necessarily want to get into repeat talk, but I mean, when you talk about all the people who are coming back on offense, they're going to have to replace some people, but you got guys like Jalix Hunt, who's still young and under
Stud.
contract. Same to Moro Ojomo, young and under contract. Obviously, you got the young boys on the defensive backfield. Who
Yes.
I mean, Darius Slay. Who knows what he might do? Maybe he retires.
Right. Right.
Because I mean, he's been out there for a while now, and so I think defensively, who you can get to replace Brandon Graham, who you can get to replace. I think Josh Sweat's going to get a. I think Josh Sweat might return if they make him an offer.
I can see Josh returning. I think Milton's gonna get. I think Milton will be the one that gets the offer that this we can't do anything about it. Somebody give Milton over 20, and that's gonna have to be what it is.
Hopefully it's not San Francisco. I mean, you never want to, stereotype, but I'm like, after Javon Hargrave experiment did not work
Yeah,
out so well,
I
I'm
understand.
San Francisco, don't do it. Don't
I
do it.
understand. Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, I
But
think he's
I
gonna.
definitely think, like I said, I think with that offense and with Jalen, the king of the NFC quarterbacks,
Yes.
another deep run, I think should be expected. And I think like I said, I think when you were, getting into your WWE promo, I mean, we could be looking at like a Cleveland and Golden State type thing where you just keep seeing the Chiefs
Yeah.
and the Eagles running back several years in a row.
Yeah. It
Because
being an arms race, it's a real arms race with
mhm,
these two. It feels like it's a real
because
arms
again,
race.
like I think with the Chiefs, I think looking forward for them, to me, and I'm going to keep harping on this because I'm the guy who advocates for this position group. But to me, more people are like, we got to revamp the line. Like, oh God, bro, I don't know if you've seen it, but the overreactions were in full force.
I
The
believe it.
coaching
I
staff, they
believe it.
got to rethink some things and they got to revamp the entire line. And I'm like, I don't know if y'all need to revamp the entire line. Y'all got some decisions to make. Trey Smith, someone's going to throw him a bag. Do you guys make him that offer first? Do you franchise and try to trade him? That would be my, if you're not going to resign him, that would be the way I would go.
Right.
Franchise and trade him. But like try to bring back Trey, keep your interior, figure out your left tackle. But to me, the thing that they need offensively is they got to figure out the running back.
There
You
is no
have
excuse for them to leave this specific draft without getting a running back. This draft coming up, there's no excuse. None.
They got to find a guy who's got home run hitter ability, who can stress the defense out. Because the one thing I will agree with, that people have said that a running game is a quarterback's best friend. And if you can, even if once you're down 17-0, the one thing I give Kyle Shanahan credit for, it don't matter, especially in that first half. It don't matter what that lead is looking like. CMC, Jordan Mason, they're seeing the ball. They're running the football. And so, I mean, even there was a one play they ran where when they were down by the goal line, the drive of the interception happened. I watched where they ran a play where Philly went drop 8. And I'm like, bro, if you would have had a running play dialed up right there, that is 8 yards right there, because they're already in retreat, right? You're only rushing 3. Everyone's backing up. You could have gotten a schematic advantage right there and picked up 8 quick yards to set you up for a nice second down play. So, but to me, when you don't have that guy back there that you trust, then again, you're just going to keep going back to 15. So to me, offensively, the thing that they need the most is running back, to try to figure that position out. Whether that's like saying, hey, New Orleans, what would you want for Alvin Kamara?
Yeah, make some calls. Right.
I know J.K. Dobbins is going to be a free agent. I don't know if he's going to re-sign with L.A. or not, but let me look at Alvin Kamara's contract real quick. I mean, he's under contract for 2 more years. Now the thing is, right, he's hit 30.
Yeah. Has he hit 30?
He's going to be 30 this year.
That's crazy.
So,
it's great that he's 30 and Saquon is about to be like 27.
Dang.
That's why I didn't know the gap was that. I thought they were close to the same age. I really did.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to take that risk, though, his contract's not crazy. 2025, only $2 million base salary.
Oh my God.
Looks like, I mean, let me see if it has cap. So about $10 million.
For the right draft capital, that's a worthy risk. I don't give 200, but for the right, like, just if you give like a third or something like that, that's worthy. Because the Saints,
I would say fifth.
The Saints,
I would start at a fifth. Yeah, because you got to understand,
they're in cap.
Go ahead.
And at some point they got to get out of it, and this gonna cost them a lot.
Shout out to my dad in the building.
Hey.
Did not see that type of game yesterday. Was glad to see a new champion. I mean, yeah. Like I said, I think people wanted to see something other than the Chiefs. I don't know if I said this while you were on the show, but like Matthew Berry, like I think it might have been the lead up to the AFC title game, was like anybody but the Chiefs. And I'm like, bro, what they do to you? Like, you not
Commanders fan? You're not even in these talks for
like you're not in the same conference. Like, what do you mean anybody like dog? Like, it's unnecessary hate.
Right.
But yeah, JC, I see what you posted. I bet it up. We'll make that happen. So, like I said, man, they got some things defensively. The Chiefs have a lot of questions they need to answer. Did they ever say what happened with Chris Jones? I know he came back on the field, but then he left again. Like, I
saw they tried to blame it on the tush push. I saw that agenda.
Well, that was a different one. That was earlier in the game.
The knee.
The knee. What do you blame it on the tush push? Yeah, it was a tush push, man. He was hurt his neck.
He was hurt before. that.
Cut that out.
That was an agenda. That was an agenda forming. I felt the agenda being formed in the middle of the game. They want that.
Boy, you want to talk about the agenda forming? That first OPI call, offensive pass interference call. And so I said this, I think my sister-in-law, she was sitting there, and when they announced that Ron Torbert was the referee, and I went, oh no. Oh no. Like, y'all done gave this job to her brother. And like, to me, like, he the black referee I trust the least, because I done seen Ron Torbert make some calls, and I go, come on.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, man, they just waiting to call you DEI, brother. So please, in front of all these people, don't screw this up. And then that first call happened. I'm just went, oh,
No, when they called that, and then the helmet hit on Goddard, I was like, "Oh, we just got a bad official game. Cool. If we got bad officials, we got bad officials, man. Everybody, shut up. Let's go play.
yeah,
That's,
yeah.
that's what it's gonna be. We just gonna all shut up. All right, that's fine.
I, I definitely got on Twitter and said, hey, they're even now.
Right?
Shut up.
No,
I
for
don't
sure.
want to
That
hear
call.
any more
No,
about
that call
this.
was egregious. That call was
Yeah,
so bad. I was like,
yeah.
all right.
So I mean, I was definitely concerned about that. But like I said, defensively, they got to figure out what they're doing. If what Chris, the status of his knee, what's going to happen with Nick Bolton. I want to say Charles Omenihu's deal might be up. They
Yeah.
got to they got to extend McDuffie. They
Right.
got it. Justin Reed is probably gone,
I
right?
saw
So
you create. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot of potential changes on the horizon, and so this is a big draft for Brett and free agent class for off season for Brett Veach because he's got a lot to figure out on that side of the ball, in
Yeah.
my opinion. If they can get the right pieces, again, they have the opportunity to be right back here. Last thing before we go,
Mhm.
because we didn't talk about it. Halftime,
Yes.
Kendrick, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I listened to who was it? Bomani's podcast earlier. He was saying that he feels like the Super Bowl performance should feel big and it didn't feel big. I'm like, you know what? That's a fair thing. I'm such a Kendrick fan that I'm just gonna enjoy anything he does. But I do understand that wasn't a Super Bowl spectacle. That was very much the Kendrick, just Kendrick doing some Kendrick stuff, which is fine. I thought it was super creative. The Uncle Sam thing and things Kendrick was saying, like, yo, they let him do this. I was sitting there shocked. Like they let him, they NFL let you do all that. They just say, oh, all right, cool, because
Because
he
they
said
do
some
get to
things.
see. So just in
Yeah,
case people don't know, they do get the NFL does get to see. They get to see what you're doing, and if they
yeah,
decide they want to pull the plug on something, they have the ability to potentially tell you don't do that. So they do get to
right.
see that.
Yeah, because when he did the first set, Samuel Jackson, it's too ghetto. I was like, oh, we're really doing this today. Okay, all right. But no, I thought it was a great performance, especially as someone who is for years and years told people that if it ever popped off, Kendrick was gonna hurt that man. If it ever popped, it was a nice victory lap added, and I was happy that the score was what it was, so I could enjoy the halftime show. Because if the game was 17-7, 7-10, anything like that, I would have been too worried about the about the football game to have enjoyed it. But no, I thought it was a good show. It was a nice. I think it was a nice preview of the what the concert can look like potentially. I think the tour is going to be kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got my
yeah.
tickets, so
I have not. I got to decide if it's either Beyonce or Kendrick. I think right now for me,
that's real.
the way funds are looking, so I got to
Yeah.
make a choice. And neither one of them are coming to Kansas City, so
Oh, you got to
that
travel somewhere. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool too. Like I didn't think it was awesome, like great, right? I don't think it goes in the pantheon of great Super Bowl halftime performances. And the thing that I said was that if you have been to a Kendrick concert, it reminds you a lot of a Kendrick concert.
Hmm. Hmm.
Kendrick, in the sense that Kendrick can give you bangers, right? He can go hit for hit if he wants to, but then he'll start playing daddy issues.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, watch the party die, right? Watch the party.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
vibing
And
out,
so
and now Count Me Out's on. You was playing Humble 2 songs ago. I'm playing Count Me Out. Okay. All right.
And like that's one of those records where like it feels like the crowd is now just watching, right? They're not so
Mm-hmm.
much as chanting and reciting everything word for word. They're just kind of watching him perform and whatever he has with the set design. And that's kind of what it was at certain points. It was like,
For sure.
oh, okay, yeah, you getting us hype. And then now we're going to, like I said, we're about to go into Luther,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
Or we're going to All the Stars, which All the Stars is a huge record, but from a like get the crowd moving, bopping, side of going crazy.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. So
Right.
I think it was dope. I do. Part of me hopes. Now, granted, I know he's gonna. I love the way he set up. Not like us. Are
Yes.
we gonna play it?
Yes.
Are we gonna do it?
Yeah.
I love that. I think that I hope at the end when he has the game over, obviously he's gonna do it not like us during the tour. We all
Right.
understand that.
Yeah.
But I do hope that this will lead to him moving past the beef.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got to be coming up almost a year, right?
It will be a year like that. Dropped in March last year, I think. So yeah, it'll be it'll be a
So
year.
we're coming up on almost a year anniversary of this whole thing popping off. Like, I would like to see Kendrick move beyond this, because to
Agree.
me, we're getting dangerously close to, we can't talk about Kendrick without talking about Drake. And I don't want, Kendrick is too talented of an artist that allow his name to be tied to Drake that way. Not saying that Drake isn't a good artist or anything like that, but it's becoming too much of, when you talk
Yeah.
about his career, if you're summarizing his career within the first paragraph, we're talking about the beef.
Right.
And he's
Right.
done too much for his name to be just tied to Drake in that way for too long. So I am hoping, excuse me, that the game over signified, okay, well, I'm not going to continue to troll you. No more
Yeah.
Canadian tuxes, and no more, like, no subliminals that aren't really subliminals. We're moving on to the next thing.
Yeah. Like you said, big the Super Bowl on a song that I ended up dissing you about. I played Super Bowl. We're done here, brother. There's nothing else to talk about. We're good.
It's done. It's
I
done.
talked about you. I talked about you suing on at the Super Bowl in front of 129 million people. I made fun of you for that. Like we're done, bro.
I mean, breaking the fourth wall, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, all of that. Like, and even if Drake decides to send subliminals, bro, we know what we're done. We're done
Yeah.
here.
It's finished for
The
sure. I
other
agree.
thing I want to say about this is that I need for you so-called Kendrick fans to mark a line in the sand. Are you Kendrick fans or are you Drake haters? Because right now, some of y'all on the internet are Drake haters and you're not looking like Kendrick fans, because you take every opportunity to find ways to troll Drake. I still don't understand why y'all hate him so much when y'all don't know him. Did he sleep with your mom? Did he sleep with your sister? Right? Like, I feel like there could be a support group or some type of
I have
class
a
action
theory for it.
lawsuit of, if he slept with your girl, you may be entitled to compensation. That could possibly be
Yeah.
true. But when I saw people take the PG Lang A and try to attribute that as A minor,
Hmm.
or the PG Lang flag and attribute that as the A minor, I went, are y'all crazy? Like, if Kendrick put that out, if he would have done that, I would have looked at him and said, are you okay? Like, because
Well, he's not. Kendrick's
true,
sicker.
true, but
But I understand what you're
listen,
saying. Yeah.
let's make this battle rap analogy.
Yes.
When a certain rapper whose name starts with A
Hmm.
came out into the limelight alleging that battle rappers were messing with underage women,
Hmm.
what was the response of the culture? Yo, my guy, if you know this and to be true, this isn't some, I'm going to hold this smoking gun for the right moment. You need to let us know who it is,
Right.
so they can be dealt with accordingly.
Right.
If, like, I would look at Kendrick a little weird, like, bro, like, you're parading around like A minor paraphernalia for what? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's beyond a troll at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've had the conversation with my friends who I'm like, yo, if I don't think Kendrick, because I always held theory that Kendrick went with the foul angle because Groomer doesn't hit the same in a song. I think that was the one to go with for the purpose of the beef because Drake does have a type and they all seem to be the same age as he gets older, and it's very weird to me. I think that's very obvious, and there's enough evidence to know that that's absolutely facts. But the what's it called, the PDF is the one to go within a beef because let's be real, people forgive dating 18, they don't care that much. It's 18, they don't care that much, let's be honest. But that was the angle to go with, so I always felt it was an angle. I don't think he ever had any evidence of it, but I think it was the angle to go within the beef. That's why I've always told my friend, like, even as a person that had Kendrick, like, that's just the angle he had to take because it's a better angle, it makes more sense. I don't
Yeah.
think he has the evidence, and if he did have evidence of it and was holding it for a beef, I would think that's whack, very very whack.
Right.
Like,
And that's why I was like, really think about what y'all saying here with this PG Lang flag. Like, y'all wouldn't call him weird after that? Like, come on.
right.
Like, so yeah. So I mean, I hope, like, let's just be honest. If you hate Drake, that's fine.
Hmm.
But
Oh, yeah, I
just
have a
say you
theory for
hate.
this too.
Say it again.
I have a theory for this too
All right, what's your
About the
theory?
Drake haters. I believe that most of the Kendrick fans, at least ones I know that are super Kendrick fans, we were also Drake fans. I was a big Drake fan at one point,
Mm.
but as I got older, his content stayed the same and or got worse, and I was like, it's kind of whack to be 38 and still talking about how You need to be saved and need love. You are a whole grown man. Like that has to stop, brother. You know? And I think Kendrick's music matured as he got older and moved to like a more personal. It got more like Miss Morale and the Big Steppers is not an album I would have probably cared about at 20 something years old. But
Probably
For
true.
All the Dogs is not an album I care about at 30. I'm 30 years old. I don't want to hear any of that, bro. I'm good on all that, you know. So I think part of that is part of the play of it, and I do think that another part of it is like some of us came from been telling people for a long time that this is the best. Y'all need this J Cole Drake thing. Stop it. Just don't y'all don't want the actual smoke. We've been doing it for a long time. And then I think it just became cool to turn into Hey Drake. So I think a lot of people like fake fans. It just became cool. It became cool to like Hey Drake, and but Kendrick's the easy one. It's in the name of Kendrick, so you seem better. You feel better about it. Like I do think the stand culture has gotten a lot worse around this thing. It's gotten
On
so
both
bad.
sides, and
Cause
both
yo,
sides, right?
yeah, no, because look, I called that person in Australia came not like us at Drake corny. I said that's corny. You're at the airport. He's around about that's corny, bro. And somebody this random person came. I mentioned the Twitter account was Meet the Grams. I'm so serious. The Twitter account was called at Meet the Grams, and the name was Drake Lost. He was like, it wasn't corny when he did the at Meet Mill. Like, you don't get out my mentions. Like, get away from me. Like, what are y'all doing?
I do wonder how many of those are bots too. I do
Me
think
too.
so. I
Yeah.
think even with the Kendrick, the response to Kendrick performance and all the, the white people out here talking about it's the worst performance ever. This is why I've never watched. Like I do a lot of that. Think a lot of that are bots
No, yeah, I agree. It's
who are
so
there to
funny.
try to stoke division.
You'll see those articles. They'll be like, "Oh, the backlash," and it's like 4 tweets. It's like, bro, this is we don't have to pay attention to them. We really don't. It's
We
just any of this. It's so easy to just
that
ignore.
that is the key. We don't
Yes,
have to feed the trolls. You can ignore them. You don't have
right.
to respond. As I've gotten older, I have done I give I think like twice a year. It's almost like at my what is it, tax-free weekend?
Mm-hmm.
It's like once or twice a year.
Yeah.
My tax-free weekend, I'll actually engage not with a bot, but just with an idiot.
Yes.
I like I
Yes.
haven't done this in a long time. Let me just engage with this idiot for like 5 minutes. Just I got 30 minutes to burn.
Yes.
Right? Ignore the trolls, man. That's really the big one. But
Right.
yeah, I need people. Although listen, I'll defend Drake on this. I do think there's a lot of authenticity still in his music. When he talks about no friends in the industry, I mean, apparently he wasn't lying.
Yeah.
He was telling the truth. And I will say this: I do think as you get to be more famous and more money, I think it is harder to find genuine connection, right?
Yeah.
Because who really loves you for you versus who really loves you because of what comes with being attached to Drake. So I will give him that. I'll give him that. Now the brother does need some therapy. He does need, and he
Mhm.
does need to mature.
Yeah.
That is also true. Two things can be true at the same time.
Right. Right.
I'm trying to think. There was one last point I wanted to make before we got out of here about that, but no, I think that's it. Last thing I'll say, GNX. The few records I didn't like, I wasn't in love with Gloria the first time I heard it. I wasn't in love with.
Thank
I still think GNX stinks though. I think the title track still stinks. I hate the beat for GNX.
I like one verse from that one that I cut it off. I like the I forgot his name. One of the guys' verses. I think it's the second verse. I like that one. That's it though. Other than that song, yeah, that's all I can say.
Yeah,
He don't even rap.
Peekaboo. Yeah, Peekaboo is a song I didn't appreciate when it dropped. I like that a little bit better. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there any other thing from the halftime show I wanted to bring up? I think that was it. I think that was it, man. Like I said, I think it was a dope record. I had I'll say that for after the show. Anyway,
All right.
anything else you want to say about Philly, man? Super Bowl.
um, the parade's gonna be amazing. I wish I could go. Um, Jalen Hurts. Y'all keep doubting. It's fun. We like that. It's cool over here. It's all good over here. Keep doubting. It's all fun. We don't care. Um, Saquon, thank you for saving my life. Oh, I'm sorry. The last thing you remember when? The last thing I'll say about that. 3 weeks ago, I remember y'all being on the internet being like, "Yo, I think Jaden Daniels could probably do better with the Eagles." I remember that. I remember y'all did that 3 weeks
we
ago.
did we did say. I mean, listen, Jalen was not great against the Rams. I get the elements.
He wasn't.
Get the
Yeah,
elements. You know,
yeah.
he was not great against the Rams, but
No.
I think at least for me, I can't because you know how fickle people. I've already seen. We ran out of time, so I won't get into this. But
Yeah,
this is the end of the Chiefs dynasty. The dynasty's over.
that's special.
The we got to end the goat talk ended for Mahomes today, and I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh, we could do a whole nother podcast on that conversation.
listen. So this I will say
Yeah,
closing out because let me put y'all up on some free game when we come to talking about this goat talk and so on and so forth. Patrick Mahomes, look at the GOAT race right now for him, kind of like you would a long distance marathon. When you're watching the Olympics and you're watching long distance racing and you see them and they go, he or she is ahead of the world record pace or right in line with the world record pace. That when you want to talk about legacy and GOAT talk and where Patrick Mahomes is in the pursuit of that for at this moment, you need to talk about it like that. There is no moment right now where we can say, well, he is or is no longer in contention for GOAT status. I didn't write down the numbers, so but if you want to research it for yourself, you can. At this point, Patrick Mahomes is slightly ahead of the world record pace set by Tom Brady. At this point in his career, they have, including the playoffs and regular season, they have about the same amount of wins, same amount of losses. Mahomes is ahead of him just in counting stats, right? He's ahead of him in yardage. He's ahead of him in touchdowns. They're almost even there. They're about even in interceptions. For those of you who like to ring chase and in that way, Patrick has been in more Super Bowls at this point than Brady has. By the time Brady got to his fifth Super Bowl, he was in his 12th season. Patrick has now completed his eighth season, his seventh as a starter, and he's already been to 5 Super Bowls.
and had the same record.
And has the same record as someone in their 12th, right? So he's equal in Super Bowl wins. I think he has maybe one more. I don't know if Brady got the Super Bowl MVP for the first one. I can't remember
I
that.
think he did. I would assume he didn't, because I don't think he threw a
If
touchdown in that game.
I don't think he did either. So
Yeah.
he's either equal to or has surpassed him in Super Bowl MVPs. He's just ahead of the pace. So we can talk about once Patrick Mahomes has decided to call it a career and he's reached the conclusion of his race, we can then go back and look at the totality of his work and say he is either, in your estimation, because it's a subjective thing,
Mhm.
in your estimation, he has surpassed, equaled, or fallen just short. We can talk about where he ranks all time in the top 5 because listen, people, he's already there, right? You can forget if he quits today, he's top 5 all time already. So we can talk about where he is once he decides to hang it up. But when you talk about the GOAT and Mahomes and Brady and yada yada yada, that is how you should have that discussion. Where is he keeping pace with Brady? Thank you for
Like
attending my TED Talk.
they're saying he's out of the GO conversation when he passed somebody who we thought was like in that talk, and Aaron Rodgers, and he passed him in like 3 years. And he just went right past him, but he's out of the talks. Okay.
Hawk them down. Hawk them down. Like again, it's hard for me. Montana, I feel like gets lost a lot in this conversation.
Yeah, I already brought up there. I'm like, you know what? We do need to respect Montana more. We don't respect Montana.
We really need. I love Joe Montana's answer when asked about would he have rather played in as many Super Bowls or won as many Super Bowls as Brady or something like that, or just taking his 4. And he goes, "Well, I'm undefeated." Like
It's very
4,
simple.
you can't do worse than 4-0. And
Right.
I went, "That's true.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair point."
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Anything else? Closing thoughts?
I'm
Anything
good,
else?
man. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for listening, man. I always enjoy my time here. Anytime anyone hits me up to come on, I'm probably coming on. This is what it is. I'm a 2-time champ now. My ring shine bright. The sun shines bright upon me.
My homie sent in the group chat. He goes, "The what Thanos quote? The sun rises on the grateful
Grateful.
universe today." Oh shoot! Matter of fact, I'll close on this. I didn't mean to, but I lead praise and worship at my church, and I had a Thanos quote. as I was praying. Yeah, yeah. I didn't mean to. It just kind of happened. I was just
Yeah.
like, we stray from God, and you know, after we what is it after we failed, where does our failure lead us? Back to Him.
That's a good one though. That's one. That's how you do it. That's a good one.
I didn't mean to do it, and after I said it, I thought to myself, "Dang, I just quoted Thanos there." Okay, anyway. But yo, thank you for tuning in to this episode of It's a Black and White Thing. Please remember, you can get every episode of the podcast by going to the podcast app of your choice, wherever you find the good ones. Give us 5 stars, leave a comment, share that. You can also check us out on YouTube by searching at Brains and Bars. Hit the notification bell, subscribe, hit the like button, share the broadcast, tell a friend and tell a friend it's those boys again. You can check us out on social media: Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, searching at Brains and Bars. Once again, shout out to the homie Titus from Not the Experts, Let's Talk Battle Rap, 2-time Super Bowl champion, for joining us tonight. Until next time, man, it's been a Black and White Thing, man. Y'all have a good night, man.